What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Gimme presented by BetMGM. Why the Gimme? Because it's good. And yes, people, we did it. We finally made it. We are here. The 50th and final event of this PGA Tour Super Season, the Tour Championship, to crown the FedEx Cup champion this week at East Lake Golf Club. I'm Jason Sobel, along with my friends Amanda Rose and Justin Ray from the 21st group. And coming up, all the usual good stuff, our perfect portfolios, our ultimate DFS lineup, plus a couple of really cool giveaways from Cobra Puma Golf. You'll want to stay tuned for that because we might call your name. You could be a winner before the week even starts. I love when that happens. So let's get right into it, guys. One bet that you're making this week, Amanda, what do you think?
So one bet that I really like this week is Harris English, top American. I think he does have a really good chance of playing really well. I don't have him in any of my other picks, but if I'm going to sneak in a Harris English bet, I think that's where I'm going to sneak it in. He's a Georgia boy. We're in Atlanta. It just sounds right.
I spoke to him just a few hours ago, and he seems pretty confident in his game right now, so I like that. Jay Ray?
It only took us 1.4 million shots hit on the PGA Tour this season. But we're finally here at the Tour Championship. One bet I like this week, Daniel Berger, plus 350 at BetMGM with the bonus strokes. Trying to find his way on that U.S. Ryder Cup team. Ranked 6th in the field last week at Caves Valley in strokes gained tee to green. In a small field, a player with that high of a ceiling, I like that value.
Is it 1.4 million? Are you rounding off, or are you like giving me a full solid number there?
I'll get back to the exact number, but it's roughly 1.4 million.
Come on, Mr. Stat. I can't go with like a
1,378,000.
Thank you. That's better. All right.
This is the metric system. Give us the goods.
The first bet I made this week was John Rahm. It's John Rahm everywhere. If I see Rahm's name, I'm circling him. I'm betting him. I'll tell you all about why in just a minute. All right. Let's get to the top of the board. Of course, there were two boards this week. You can bet on the low 72-hole score this week, and we'll get to that later in the show. But let's first deal with the staggered scoring that we have for the FedEx Cup. Of course, Patrick Cantlay comes in at 10 under. He will start on the leaderboard, followed by Tony Finau at 8 under, Bryson DeChambeau at 7, John Rahm at 6, Cameron Smith at 5, going on down the line to a handful of guys who got some work to do starting at even par and 10 shots back. So as far as the odds for that staggered leaderboard, Patrick Cantlay at plus 333, John Rahm plus 350 on BetMGM. Bryson plus 550. Please just call him Bryson. Do not use any other names. Tony Finau plus 700. JT 16-1, and Cameron Smith is 20-1. Let's get to the perfect portfolios. As you can see, we were up last week. Good job, us.
We
together. This is a combined effort.
Would like to say we nearly had a Charlie Hoffman situation, but my guy Hudson Swafford made double bogey on the last hole to get in the top 20 by one shot.
Hey, gotta do what you gotta do.
Whatever
just want
works.
to make you sweat a little bit. All right, Amanda, where you going with the perfect portfolio this week?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, Jason, just throwing money on Rahm wherever it is legal and possible. So John Rahm, actually, I'm going to go top 5 across the board for Rahm, DJ, Xander, and Smith. I mean, come on. John Rahm is just slated to win. It would be crazy if he didn't. I think he's going to just do something this week. So I really like John Rahm. Dustin Johnson, he won the FedEx Cup last year. He has really good like late season runs. I think he has a chance this week. Xander won here. What was it? 2017? Was that when he first won here? I mean, and he has a gold medal this year. I love how Xander's playing. And Cam Smith is another guy this season. Cam Smith just don't quit. Like he just keeps going, and he's like the Energizer Bunny. So you guys know how I feel about that. So those are mine, the top 5s. And I just want to say, there is no reason to like bully Bryson on the golf course. Like people shouldn't be calling him Brooksy, but it's still okay to joke about it on Twitter, but just don't call him that in person.
I feel like the Twitter jokes are over. Can we say anything funny about it at this point? Like 24 hours past the new PGA Tour rule. I feel like all the jokes.
Oh no, not now. It was funny then.
It was funny.
That's what I'm saying. Like it just because like you make a joke of it doesn't mean you're bullying Bryson. Like you know what I mean? But it's just like people are so sensitive.
No, they're sensitive. You can't bully people and call them the wrong name for the wrong reason. All right, thanks, Allison. Appreciate that.
Terrible,
Allison. I'm going with John Rahm outright this week. as I mentioned, he is my favorite play on the board. There's a reason why. And I think that John Rahm's taken a different mindset towards the FedEx Cup that most of his peers have said over the last few weeks. Hey, I'm going to try to play my best golf, put myself in the best position. Hopefully I can win the FedEx Cup. That's admirable. I got no problem with that. John Rahm, for the past few weeks, has said, hey, I want to win the Northern Trust. I want to win the BMW Championship, but it's all about setting myself up so I'm in position to win the FedEx Cup in the third week. Remember, he had more than a month in between competitive rounds prior to the start of the playoffs. Nobody else had that. And so I still think he's got more gas in the tank than anybody. He's my favorite play everywhere this week. I'll tell you more about him in a little bit, but outright at plus 350. Justin Thomas, I'll echo what you guys said about JT. Top 5 this week. I think he's going to make a little run. Good course for him. He's still frustrated. By the way, this is going to sound really weird for a very frustrating summer for Justin Thomas, and he doesn't feel like he played that well. He won the Players' Championship back in March. If he does somehow win this week and he's the FedEx Cup champion, he might go from frustrating summer to Player of the Year, which is really, really strange. There's a lot of candidates up for that thing this year. Sam Burns, top 5. Bermuda Burns. Love him in Southeast tournaments where he tends to play some of his best golf. Top 5 at 4-1. And Scotty Scheffler starts pretty far down the list, but last year he had the second lowest 72-hole score. So I like him moving into the top 10 at plus 250. Jay Ray?
So I'm starting my portfolio off with Sergio Garcia for a top 10 finish. Strokes gained off the tee has proven to be more significant statistic than normal at Eastlake. Sergio is still one of the best drivers of the golf ball in the world. Third on the PGA Tour this season in strokes gained off the tee, despite being on the other side of 40 now. Last week, he posted the lowest 72-hole score of his entire PGA Tour career. Kind of surprising. The numbers were really low, though, at Caves Valley. Top 10 in the field last week in Caves Valley in strokes gained putting. I like Sergio for a top 10. I've got Rory to top 5. Terrific week at the BMW Championship. He also ranked in the top 10 in strokes gained putting, something he doesn't do too often. Only Bryson gained more strokes off the tee last week than Rory did. Since 2010, winners at Eastlake have averaged more strokes gained off the tee per round than strokes gained approach. That almost never happens. There's a reason why he's won here twice, averaging nearly 5 birdies per round at Eastlake over the last 5 years, most of any player. I've also got Bryson DeChambeau to top 5. Doubt DeChambeau at your own peril this week. I mentioned that performance off the tee is incredibly important at Eastlake. Bryson's coming off the most dominant strokes gained off the tee performance on the PGA Tour since Dustin Johnson at Kapalua a couple years ago. Analytically, he just makes too much sense here. I know he's coming off of a kind of a grueling and disappointing finish at the BMW, losing that playoff to Patrick Cantlay, but I like Bryson's top 5. And let's not overthink this. I've got John Rahm outright, FedEx Cup champion. In his last 24 rounds, John Rahm is making birdie or eagle on more than 30% of the holes he's playing. His scoring average just under 67.4 during that time span. His only finish outside the top 10 since May was when he was leading by 6 and had to withdraw after the positive COVID test. Let's not think about this too much. I've got John Rahm to outright, Jason.
Yeah, I love John Rahm, love that play. So, all right, let's get to Eastlake Golf Club just a little bit. You know it, you love it. We see it every year. I still mix up the 9s after they switched them around a few years ago, but I do think it is and has been for the better. Just over 7,300 yards, not too long for these guys. But as mentioned earlier, I did speak with Harris English on our PGA Tour radio show on Sirius XM earlier this afternoon. And he said, look, you don't want to miss the fairway here because the rough is getting a little gnarly. So maybe something to keep in mind, players that not only drive it well, but drive it in the short stuff more often than not. All right, guys. Let's get to the ultimate DFS lineup. Jay Ray and I do it every week on the Links and Locks podcast. If you haven't listened yet, where you been? Download, subscribe, rate us. And of course, on Fantasy Labs, you can find our models, tools, and optimizers there. Amanda, for the last time this season, you get the first pick. We might change things up next season.
The last time for a whole
this season.
2 weeks until grand old opening day of the PGA Tour. So I'm going to start off with Abraham Answer. I mean, duh. Like, this just seems like a course that fits him well. He's 6th in strokes gained total coming into this event. He drives it well. He's not the longest, but hey, he's one of the straightest. He putts it well. You talked about Bryson, just count him at your own peril. But I mean, come on, he can't putt. Like, you saw how he putted. And granted, different greens this week, different putting surface, but like, it just wasn't good. So Abraham Answer, I have trust in the putter after watching Bryson last week. So I think short and sweet is the way to go.
Justin.
Well, I'm going back to Sergio Garcia. I think there's an unbelievable price on him. The way he drove the ball last week and his putter was hot at Caves Valley. I mentioned how significant performance off the tee is and how highly Sergio still rates in that statistic week in and week out. He's still a great driver of the golf ball. I think he's going to have a good week rounding into form for the European Ryder Cup team.
I'm going to go back to a name that I've mentioned already. Sam Burns, not only trying to make himself some serious cash, and I like the younger players. He's 25 years old. We talk about gas in the tank. I think the younger guys have some fresher legs this time of year. They're not as tired. They're a little hungrier. Plus, he's got an outside chance of making this Ryder Cup team. We'll see what kind of health Patrick Reed is in this week after being hospitalized for much of last week. And so Sam Burns maybe getting that final spot a la Ryan Moore back in 2016 when he finished runner-up, lost in a playoff at the Tour Championship, but the next week clinched the winning point for the U.S. at Hazeltine. So I do think that Sam Burns has a chance to do that with a really good week this week. Amanda?
Yeah, so I'm looking right now at on BetMGM. They have Eric Van Rooyen plus 250, top South African versus Louis Oosthuizen minus 350. Plus 250 for Eric Van Rooyen is incredible. He's had such a good run coming into this event. He's literally gone from the bottom to making it in the top 30. He's one of two guys, Sergio Garcia being the other guy to make it into the 30 who were outside the 30 last week at Cave. So I like Eric Van Rooyen for DFS also, which is what I have right here. But I think that bet too for top South African is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm with you. Eric Van Rooyen's played great lately. Jay Ray?
Yeah, it's a great call, Amanda. I love that bet. I'm once again not going to overthink this. I saved a bunch of money with the Sergio Garcia pick. I'm spending a bunch and giving us Jon Rahm on this team. I don't think you can have a winning team this week that doesn't involve Jon Rahm. There's a reason why he's, in some books, the favorite to win despite starting the week shots back of Patrick Cantlay and Tony Finau as well. Give me Jon Rahm. I told you about how he's making birdie or better more than 30% of the holes he's played in the last 24 rounds worldwide. Got to have him.
We will allow Jon Rahm to be in our lineup this week. All right. I want to preface this last pick by saying that I love DFS. I spend my entire week playing DFS. I work on DFS lineups the same way other people do Sudoku or crossword puzzles. I sit around like TV's on in the background. I'm just like making lineups, trying to make things fit. I absolutely love it. I do it all the time. I can't stand DFS this week. I hate everything about it. We're basically picking 20% of the field to be in our lineup. How are you still supposed to win this? You've got to be perfect. And so I also think you've got to differentiate. So we've got to leave some money on the table. I'm leaving a bunch of money out there, dipping down to Sung Jae Im at 7,300. He played really well last week. If the putter gets just a little bit hotter, he lipped out a few on Sunday. If it gets a little bit hotter, I think you could have a really nice week. But you got to leave money on the table, especially in those GPP contests. So answer Sergio, Burns, EVR, Rahm, and Im. Ship it, maybe, even if we hate DFS this week. But we'll be back for DFS at the Fortinet Championship in a couple of weeks. Can't wait for that. Those are my favorite ones. All right, let's get to what we mentioned earlier. BetMGM and pretty much every other book out there will give us odds this week, not only on the staggered scoring start on the leaderboard, but for low 72-hole score as well. The tournament within the tournament last year, Xander Schauffele had the low 72-hole score. Scotty Scheffler was second. Neither one of them won the tournament, but they still won for some bettors out there. So where are you going with low 72-hole score, Amanda?
I'm going with Justin Thomas, 14-1 on BetMGM. He's just a good bet. We've been talking about him for a while this evening. So I really like Justin Thomas. He's won here before. He's won the FedEx Cup before. He has good momentum coming into this event. He's playing pretty well. This really could be just his breakout week, especially with the Ryder Cup so close. So I'm going Justin Thomas.
Justin?
Like that,
right.
Man. It could be the Pontevedra two-step with the players of the Tour Championship.
Oh,
Thomas,
gosh.
35 under par at the Tour Championship the last 5 years, third best of any player. But I'm going to go back to my guy, Rory McIlroy. 3 of the last 5 winners at Eastlake led the field in strokes gained off the tee. Meanwhile, none of the last 5 winners were in the top 5 that week in strokes gained approach. He was awesome off the tee last week, second in strokes gained off the tee to Bryson. Give me Rory McIlroy coming off a good week at Caves Valley to keep that going and get some big-time momentum going for Team Europe going into the Ryder Cup.
Guys, I promise I will stop eating chalk when we get to Napa for the next season. It doesn't go well with a red wine, but I am going to eat as much chalk as possible this week, and that's why I'm going with the favorite in this bet as well. Jon Rahm plus 600 for the low 72-hole score. I really think he's going to go out there and just go super low for 4 days and just clean up and basically take care of this thing by maybe even Saturday afternoon or early in the round on Sunday. I think that the number one player in the world is going to be number one, and show that he's number one for a reason this week. All right, guys, we have got a great giveaway from Cobra Puma Golf. The first thing is the golf bag, shoes, polo, cap. Did you guys see this on Twitter, by the way? We put it out there. There's some really good stuff on there. Did you guys see like just how nice those shoes are? Maybe we get a little bit of this.
Give us one shoe each, and then you can have a shoe, and you can have a shoe, and then I can have a golf bag. It'll be good.
You get the golf bag? All right, that's fine. Golf bag, shoes, polo, cap. This one goes to our Twitter winner at Wyguy, WHIGUY, Matthew White, Wyguy. I like that name, and I like the outfit that you're going to have the next time you go to the golf course. And we've got a golf bag for our winner on Facebook as well. The winner on Facebook, Joe Williams. Congratulations, Joe Williams. You're going to have to fight all the other Joe Williamses on Facebook for this golf bag, but we'll find the one true Joe Williams who is out there. All right, guys. There's also another big event this week, the Solheim Cup at Inverness in Ohio. I love the fact that they're doing this thing Saturday through Monday. Gives a little bit of a spotlight on Labor Day with that finish. Amanda, US, Europe. Where are your loyalties this week? Who are you going with?
Yeah, I'm going with Team Europe. Now, I see in the European team, the captains are able to kind of just build these teams that mesh really well together, where they have like this backup power player that no one realizes is going to unleash like its ultimate move and whatever. Like, that's just how Europe does it. And I know the US has Nelly, they have Jessica, they have all these incredible American players that are so dominant right now. But I don't know. I feel like this is Europe's week after watching the Curtis Cup last weekend. I don't know. It just feels like the camaraderie's there, and it feels like a Europe week.
How very patriotic of you.
Sorry. Wait till you hear what I think about the Ryder Cup.
Don't bet with your heart. I'm okay with that. Jay Ray.
Sorry, Amanda. I'm going with the United States. 7-1 all time on home soil. The Cordes sisters in 2019 were 6-0-2 combined. Won both matches. They were paired together 6-5. I think they're going to be playing together several times this week. I like the United States to win and kind of come.
I love the youth on the European team. Matilda Castron, Emily Christine Peterson, Leona McGuire. They are really, really talented young players. Europe's going to be good for a very long time, but not good enough this week. I'm taking the Fighting Cordes in the red, white, and blue. You've got Nelly, you've got Jessica, you've got Danielle Kang, Lexi Thompson, some new blood in the mix as well. I really like the U.S. team this week, even though, again, theme of the week for me, I'm eating a lot of chalk. So thanks to everybody out there for watching this season-ending episode of the Gimme. We'll be back in 2 weeks for the Fortinet Championship. A reminder, you can catch all of our content on Golf Bet, our platform on the Action Network this week and every other week. For Amanda Rose, for Justin Ray from the 21st Group, I'm Jason Sobel. Good luck with all your bets for this week's Tour Championship. Here's hoping you hit the green.